How y'all doing? So that happened. Uh, it did what I said it was going to do. It deluged, and now it's sun, and that sun's probably radiant enough. It's going to melt me now. So, anyways, I got a good 20, 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. I'm going to mess around. So, hey, OTG. Dude, it happened. I'm sorry. Okay. It was the rain. It's New Mexico. And so it is what it is. Yeah, man, it deluged. And now it's freaking radiation sun, dude. Dango, New Mexico death rays, you know? And so I'm back. Yeah. How's your day been, OT? Anything new? Yeah, I felt bad, man. Hey, A3. Doing farm chores and been lurking for a few. Glad to hear it, buddy. I don't know I'm glad to hear about farm chores, but I'm glad you're on a farm. So that's good news. Nice. At the dentist. Is it you expecting real work, or is it just a check-in? I'm not gonna ask you what, but just kind of curious of your status. You know, hope you're all good. I hope it's a check-in. Yeah, man. I had stuff planned for me yesterday, and I didn't get around to a lot of it. Talca, salud, amigo. How you been? If y'all don't know Talca, Talca is a great producer of content. Does metal detecting down in his home, and he's got some beautiful imagery out there. He finds all sorts of cool stuff. Waiting for him to find the big gold. He's one of those guys. Talca's one of those guys that just based on who he is and how he's doing things, like he's one of those guys that you're going to hear about, you know, eventually finding some lost treasure or something. You know, he's exactly the personality for that. Not me, man. I'm going to find baling wire and bottle caps, like every time. Like, why is there even baling wire out here? Who knows? But I'm going to find it. Yeah, man. But Talca's a lot of fun. I need to get in there more, Talca. I'm sorry, buddy. I've been meaning to. I've been so busy. Also, what happens kind of in my life is as soon as like late spring hits, I'm in fire season, right? And so I could leave it like any moment for any amount of time up to like 21 days at a time, right? And so YouTubing isn't like I watch, but I try not to get involved or participate too much because like I could be like doing anything at any moment, kind of like even right now. And Javier, welcome in. Yeah, I got here. Braves fan, welcome in. You partake 420, welcome in. Hey guys, these are new names for me. Here, let's put some moderation up in here. Yo swags. This is where I get blessed with possibly the troll activities, you know. I'm not saying any one of these guys is a troll, but I'm just saying this is how it happens, y'all. Start getting new names and everybody gets their turn, don't they? All right, did I miss anybody? And bow. All right. That'll let me know if you've been in here before. All right. I was saying something. I promise I was. But yeah, guys, so if you don't know what Space Miner's been up to, so Space Miner is not, I am not Space Miner, although I am Space Miner. Space Miner is a project, and so like you're a Space Miner if you're part of the project. And so, but part of the project is me talking about tangible investments. And recently, you know, I've fallen in financial love with osmium, with crystal osmium. And it has just been blowing my mind as a material, as a metal. And it's going to change. I think it's going to change people's outlook on a lot of the different precious metals. You know, we've been kind of like entrapped in this silver, gold, platinum, like copper mindset, and like as if silver, gold, platinum, copper is like the only freaking metal out there. What? Oh, and so part of the Space Project's been trying to break some of these boxes that, you know, we tend to set our mind to, you know, as a people. You know, like, let's face it, at the end of the day, hey, Rune, what are we talking about? I'm just getting into it, buddy. I'm just getting into it. What happened was I was running a live a minute ago outside, and I had some stuff out, and it started to deluge on me here in New Mexico. So I had to like pack everything up, and I had to end that live like now. And so I sheltered myself in the pickup just in time for the radiation death sun. And so I figured, you know what? I got some stuff here we can show, but I figured I'd just kind of talk for a second and like, let's kind of like reset the way we think for a minute before we go too much deeper and showing too much more stuff. So what I was just talking about was the mindset and the culture, the philosophical nature that we find ourselves adhering to in modern society. And a lot of us are trying to break the box, right? But the problem is, and every one of us is guilty of it, it's hard to break the box when you've never been out of the box, right? And so like we're trying to like reinvent the wheel with you know, like let's go back to the gold and silver. Let's just keep it gold and silver for just a moment. You know, it's something everybody's familiar with, and everybody understands that this has been used for, you know, monetary purposes and store of wealth and etc., right? So we've all been raised it for so long. Gold, silver, and gold, you know, and that's for those of us that are even into the metals. You know, some people haven't even broken out of the box of like currency, and what's worse is some people haven't even broken out of the box of debt and what that actually represents. You know, debt is the first driver, okay? Necessity, need, I guess, would be the first driver. Debt being a representation of a negative of the need, and anything over that is, anything over your need is profit, okay? And so just kind of like playing from this, Um, there's a lot of people that think debt is how you make money, and it's a way to make money, but it's not like the way, the supposed to way, the right way to make money. Okay. And so talking to a person like that, they're already trapped in a fiat currency mind. You understand? Like, you're going to have to convince them before you can even get into like what money is. You got to get them out of a currency fiat mind. Okay. And when they're already in a debt mind, they're only thinking in currency fiat in that moment, because they're stuck in it. They contracted to the currency fiat, you see? And so to get somebody out of a debt mindset is probably one of the most difficult things. But if you can convince them that debt is not the way to accumulate profit, now you think that'd be an easy thought, right? But if you can convince a person that debt is not the way to accumulate profit, then now you can talk to a person about value. Because if they think that the way to earn money is through debt, then they'll never understand a true monetary system, of a system built on money. Okay. And so when you can get a person now thinking in money terms and what money is, and recognizing that fiat currency is not money. Now you're talking about values, store of value, and you're starting to get them a little bit closer to recognizing why we use gold and silver as money. Okay. Now, not all gold and silver is money per se, but it's closer to the money than your dollar bill is, because your dollar bill is a due note. It's not an actual store of wealth. This is based on trust factors. You're trusting that this IOU is going to carry you as if you were moving the metal, but the simple fact is it's not. And anybody looking at the price of gold can tell you that your dollar and that ounce of gold are not the same. Because if they were the same, there would be no different. It would be a flat line on that chart if they were the same, but they're not the same. And what it shows us is a decrease in the value of our dollar against the gold. So when you're comparing against nations' currencies, and you need an objective reference point, so they use gold. Okay. Now, because of the traditional usage of gold, we all think gold, like it's supreme, but it's not. Gold is not the supreme. Okay. It's just the most common. It's the standard. It's the example. Okay. Maybe you could even go so far as to weigh it as an authority. Okay. But it's not. It's not the best metal, really. There's other metals that carry far more usage, that are far more rare, far more valuable than gold is. And so people are like, well, gold's obviously the top tier because it's the most expensive, but it's not the most expensive, which would show a trapped mind. Okay, so how do we break the box? The money culture, in the metals culture, in the tangible value culture, tangible assets. Because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So how do you break the box? Well, first thing you need to understand is that where do these metals come from? The dirt. People mine these metals. It takes resources and time. Man hour and money is what this is going to take. And so when you observe the metals through the man hour money perspective, man hour money to your goods, like the one everybody's been talking about recently is platinum. Like when a guy's buying his 1 ounce platinum bar, it costs him X amount of money to actually produce that bar. By the time they've mined it and refined it and formed it and packaged it and shipped it and it's hit your hand, it costs X amount of money. Okay? It costs them. And then there's the cost you pay. And so one of the things that's been happening with platinum is you got what it actually takes and then what we're actually paying, right? And so if we're buying it down here versus what it actually takes to mine, these guys are now running in the negative because they're not making as much as they're not selling off the value. They're not getting back their money for what it's costing them to produce it. So what these guys will do is they'll kind of like run in the negatives for a little bit, and then when counting on the price coming back up. But not every company can sustain at that level, right? And so how long can you run a company in the red? You can't run a company in the red forever, right? You got to be counting on expected future gains. And so if you don't have the money to get through that spell, that's it. You're done. Your company's done. You're not producing any more freaking platinum. One mine shut down, right? Just one. Well, that's that much less platinum entering the market. Now, kind of back to what we were saying, you got your platinum, and then you got your gold. Gold is freaking everywhere. Sometimes they're big deposits, sometimes they're little deposits. Okay, but it's everywhere. It's such a fluid metal, which is one of the reasons we use it as a monetary metal, because of how easy it is to access, right? And so what you end up suffering is usually you're going to lose value when you sell your gold because of the actual production values versus like the hype value and la-da-da. But 9 times out of 10, when a person sells their gold, even on a high, they're generally just recovering their premiums that they just got done purchasing that for, right? And so gold's like freaking everywhere. But platinum is not. There are far less platinum mines than there are gold mines, right? And a lot of times platinum isn't even mined directly. They're not directly mining for platinum all the time, like iron and nickel mines. Iron and nickel mines have a lot of platinum. And so they recover the platinum, but they're not a platinum mine. They're an iron and nickel mine. You see what I'm saying? And so as you're losing all of these, you're losing how much is entering the market. And if there's a big demand for it, and there's only a very small amount of supply, well, there's going to be a big correction to be had. And so you'll make a lot more money, like on it's, but you know, again, it's hard to say. It's like how much are they suppressing it? Are they accommodating the difference, you know, like mines actually do? But I'm telling you, there will come a point, like, look, we got population rise going on, okay? Every day, new investors enter the market, new technologies enter the market, new interests, new buyers enter the market every day. And so, like I was kind of saying earlier, even if there's less and less people per capita investing, like let's say there's a downtrend in investors per capita population, right? And even if there was a downtrend, if that downtrend is not as quick or fast as the population trend, you see, even if there's less per capita, if there's enough people entering the world, well, then you're going to have a larger market, which means you're going to have larger need for a supply, which means you're going to have to supply this. And if there's a limited supply now, and the supply is continuing to be limited, well, then you've got yourself a a little financial hot pocket, right? And so when I'm back, I know that was kind of like a long-winded way of going about this, but kind of like back to what I was saying a minute ago. We are trapped in the gold silver mindset, and it's really, if you're out there to make, if you're really out there to make bigger money, okay, and bigger gains on your money and faster gains, you're going to be in a riskier market. A more volatile market is one good way to aim at that, right? But you're going to have to aim at other metals, not the one that everybody and their mom is dealing with, because that's like it's like a stale market almost, you know, with gold and silver, you know, based on the spot, it's mostly stale. There's not a lot of room to wiggle in there. But you get your rare metals, and although you might have a limited market, the values of these go crazy. I was saying just a little bit earlier, you know, like, it doesn't matter what metal you choose as long as you have a game plan, right? And so you look at just the entry of technologies alone, okay? New technologies, or even the common technologies, and just their increased usage, okay? When I was a kid, nobody had a cell phone. And if you did have a cell phone, you were probably a government worker, you know, or you had some wealth. But nowadays, kids are getting dango cell phones. I'm not going to get my kid a cell phone until he's much older, much more mature. But nowadays, like, that's the thing. And so you need to look at the metals that go into cell phones, right? And so if you're looking at a technological advance in a medical industry or a medical field, well, what metal do they need? Is this the new medical standard, industry standard? Like hypodermic syringes, okay? There was a time that, you know, hypodermic syringes probably were regulated in the sense that everybody agreed that, like, look, you need to use one of these too. And as populations increase, so does the need for syringes. And so who owns that metal, right? You got a big, you know, right now in Europe, they're putting up these micro reactors all over, nuclear reactors all over the place. They've got a waiting list. There's one company who's building all these micro nuclear reactors. He's only a few into them. There are only a few reactors into them, but they're going to be putting these micro reactors all over Europe, right? What do they need to make this project go forward? And is this a limited market, right? Obviously, not everybody and their mom is carrying around uranium and plutonium and the like, right? So you've got a demand for a niche market, you know, and when you're dealing with these rare metals, there's only so much to be grabbed. And so that price rapidly fluctuates, changes, and adjusts to the demands of the consumer. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I do gotta smoke, bro. How long have I been holding that stupid thing, right? But, you know, I'm just using needles as an example. I'm not telling everybody go invest in needles. That's ridiculous. Not what you're saying is ridiculous, but where my mind takes it is ridiculous. So all I'm saying is platinum, let's get back to this. Platinum is really going to be your key watch out flag. That's going to be your big flag point, you know, your flagship to see what's coming in. Okay, because of there are fewer platinum mines than there are other types of mines, gold mines. Okay, it's much more difficult and much more costly to extract the platinum versus gold. I mean, gold, you pull it out of the ground, melt it down, skim it off, and bada bing, you've got gold ready to sell. I mean, and it doesn't work that way with platinum. And so how much more all these other metals, precious metals that are coming in the platinum, next to the platinum, alongside the platinum, platinum-like, okay? Because if they're depending on platinum mining to get these metals, and some of these metals are technologically irreplaceable, you know, platinum included, but these extra special metals. So if we're going to see the correction in platinum, how much more are we going to see a correction in your ultra rares, right? And the problem is, though, is that society has not been cultured to think this way, because knowledge is power, and these guys keep secrets from you. Look at, like, have you ever heard of the Pelosi profile or something like that? It's this whole site dedicated to tracking Nancy Pelosi's investments. It's like an ETF of a sort. You know, you could consider it that way. And if you follow what Nancy Pelosi's doing, whether you agree with it or not, you're going to make money, right? And you're going to make a lot of it, because they're not telling you what's going on in the backroom deals. These are limited, very niche markets. But if you were to take that niche market and make it a major market, what would happen to the price of that metal? Just a little bit of culturing, a little bit of understanding, one more person to sell it to. You know, platinum went through this. There was, who the hell do you sell platinum to, right? Whenever platinum was first, who the hell are you even going to sell it to? It's hard enough to buy. How the hell am I even going to sell it? There's plenty. I mean, some say, oh, you know, platinum's hard to sell. And yeah, it's harder to sell than silver and gold. Okay, I'll give you that. But it's not. You just got to go to a different source. You got to do a different type of work. It's not that it's more work. It's just a different type of work you got to do now. It's a different type of market. It's a different type of personality you're dealing with now. Okay. But the fact is some of these technologies don't get to go forward without some of these ultra rare metals. And as technologies improve and tool usages improve and the like and the latter, well, then just like platinum back in the day, well, how much more osmium, rhodium, ruthenium, iridium, you know, palladium and gallium and indium and all these other ultra rare metals, and gallium somebody mentioned earlier, and bismuth, you know, is maybe not so rare, but pretty important stuff. I mean, guys, these have markets too. And as technologies change and grow, you might need to find yourself adapting real quick. Like, okay, gold was really, really, really popular in this time period, but then the culture shifted and the technology shifted and the focus shifted. And gold, maybe it's not quite the driving force you wanted, you know, as it was 10 years ago. Maybe you should drive a different car for a minute. You know, if you're going to be in the middle of the city, the last thing you want's a Peterbilt. Maybe you should be looking at that Prius that you never would have considered before. You know, looking at that little Tesla. Maybe now that Tesla is a good deal. Maybe that little freaking scooter, maybe it's time to get on a scooter, right? And all I'm saying is you don't have to stay on the damn thing. It's not a life adjustment you're making. You don't have to sell off every freaking ounce of metal you've got stacked up to buy this one little thing. Dude, just diversify. If it's working well, feed it more. If it's growing, feed it. You know? And if it becomes a leech, you get rid of it. It's dude, nobody's tying your hands to these contracts. You know? Nobody's tying your hands to this metal. You can sell it. You can sell it at a loss. You can sell it for a profit, you know. But we need to start being smarter as a stacking community and an investment community and a precious metals community. And we really need to start driving the culture of thinking outside the box. Dude, quit going to the go-tos. I mean, they're hype central. Dude, they're freaking hype central. And they can be tough to predict because there's so much social influence. Dude, gold could fly through the roof tomorrow because people are panic buying. And then you get tied into the panic buying and you're holding the damn bag. And all I'm saying is we got to break that mindset that there are more metals out there. Marcy, I just saw her name. I got to catch her real quick. Sorry, guys, I've been going, but that's kind of why I do these lives. We got to culture this. Look, every time you get one person adjusting their investment portfolio into platinum now, like let's say they were stuck on gold and silver, now they're stacking platinum. Dude, that's one more person you can trade with. You can do a monetary exchange with in platinum. Every time somebody gets crystal osmium, that market just got a little bit bigger. It won't be long at all before the demand in the market catches up. And everybody that was involved in that early and helped culture it gets to benefit from the culture. You know, did y'all ever read that childhood story about there's a little red hen that was baking bread, you know, got out there and tilled the field and offered it up to everybody. And anybody want to come help me? You know, I'm going to be baking bread, and sowed the field. Nobody wanted to help them. You know, they all had better things to do. They had other plans, you know, more important things to move on. And then the field grew, and then, you know, still was hey guys, anybody want to join? I'm making bread. And then she harvested, and then she cracked and shucked and ground and mixed the ingredients and baked, and then the whole neighborhood smelled the bread. And they all wanted a piece of the bread. But they didn't do anything to take part in that. And they don't get to enjoy the bread now, you know? And if they want the bread, you know, it comes with a bit of shame. You know, you're going to have to suck up a little bit of that price. You're late to these metals. You're late to your money. You're the only one that's going to get hurt. And the only reason is because you were ignorant, apathetic, or stupid, or stubborn, or just plain broke, which is going to be most of my case. You know, I would love to move on some of these big rare metals, you know, but, you know, I'm just a wildland firefighter, guys. We don't make much. So we got to be smart with our money. We got to time our money, you know, which means I got to time what I do with that stupid green currency. You know, and so I take the punch in the face and I take the risk and I say, you know what, the currency is going to be here and it's just going to keep falling down. Currency's not going anywhere real soon, right? It's going to be there. I don't need much. I'll put my money into this risk right here. And later, if I need green pieces of paper to give to people, I can trade in some of my money for some green paper. And I'll have more green paper than when I started. And so I don't have to care what the price of paper is. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to care. I don't have to worry that the price of paper is going down. You know, I would worry about, you know, the metal. Because look, you could trade just as much as you can trade green pieces of paper for gold. You could trade gold for silver, and you could trade silver for platinum, and you could trade platinum for osmium, and you could trade osmium for diamonds or whatever the hell you want. And if you don't like that exit, find a good trade your silver for your platinum, and then sell your platinum for the green paper. Because sometimes you could get a better deal going silver to platinum then to green paper than you could going platinum to silver to green paper. You see what I'm saying? But if you're stuck in three freaking modes where you're like, all right, look, it's got to be the green paper, it's got to be gold, or it's got to be silver, you're stuck trading between those three values. And you might not have the advantage that you would have over here stacking one more. You know, and so when you hear guys screaming diversity, 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 it's important. because it gives you more keys out. You're in a house and you're locked in, and the only way out is a key. And whatever's on the other side of the door, you got to freaking deal with. So if you don't like what's on the other side of that door, you're going to need a different key. You know, till you can find the door you like. I've told people before, like, look, you want to be a millionaire. You don't have to have a $1 million idea. You can have $10,000, $100,000 ideas. You could have 100 of them. You know, one of the ways I used to like to play the crypto coins, and I haven't played with crypto in a while, but that doesn't mean I'm done with it either. But one of my schemes is you pick 10 performers. You dump an equal amount in to each one. Just let's say $100 a piece, right? You just pick 10 performers, $100 a piece. And all you need's, remember, a dollar is a dollar, percentage is percentage, and profit is profit, right? And so you just toss into 10 performers, and if one bombs all the way, as long as one doubled, you made your money back. Now, if two double, you just got $100 in, $100 up, you see? And if one's not performing, you can sell it at a loss because you already recovered it over there because it's just one portfolio. Now, if you treat your metal in the same way, you can act when the timing is right. And you don't have to jump in on the bandwagon, and you can bring your own beer, buddy, and you don't have to pay bar price anymore. You can go to the bar with all your buddies and pay $10 a beer, or you can go to the gas station and have 6 beers for $10. But it's gonna cost you some work and some time. No, it's not as easy. No, it's not as quick. But it's to your advantage to have as many. Like, look, try running it as a bet. Take $10, buy $10 of every metal. If you're stuck on 100, if you got 1,000, buy $100 of every metal you think you want to buy. Okay? Try it. Do the 10 spread. Do a 5 spread. It changes your percentages around a little bit, but build your own little ETFs. That way, the first chance you get, like, look, maybe nobody's expecting rhodium to do anything, and rhodium's just going to be the price of rhodium forever. Maybe. Buy $10 of rhodium, right? $100 of rhodium, $1,000 of rhodium, whatever your spread is, right? Buy it. Maybe it doesn't do jack. Maybe you lose $10 on it. Or maybe somebody has a piece of technology that all of a sudden they need a bunch of rhodium for. Now all the rhodium's bought up. And now it's 100 times the value, 10 times the value, 5 times the value, twice the value. Would twice the value be enough to make you happy? I would think so, because I call 1% profit. 1% is 1% profit if it's on the green. That's $1 profit, y'all. That's $1 for every 100. 1%. Another thing I like to do with the cryptos, same day plays. Same day plays. It's too easy with crypto, especially with like XRP. Like XRP, XLM, the shit's fast, it's cheap. You get bam, a 3% rise all of a sudden, just sell it. Don't be greedy. Don't be stupid. Take 2% that day. Take 2% the next day, and take 1% the next day after that, and take 3% the day after that. In and out, same day. You might take 1% loss. So tomorrow you need 2%. Well, you just got a 1% profit on 2 days. Who cares? It's profit is profit. You guys are doing very well in chat. I don't see a reason Hey, what up, Generally Specific? Oh, we got Frisky in here. We got Gerald. We got Neil. Oh, my goodness. Marcy, I don't know if you're still here. Bill, C4. What up, y'all? Dang, it's good to see you guys. Sorry, I've been just going, but that's why I do these lives, so I don't have to wait 8 hours for this to upload. And you guys are, every now and then my mind will take a glance at the chat, see something, be like, oh yeah, duh. Let's talk about that too, right? And so what I'm saying is we got to get back to culture, right? This is what I'm getting at. We have to get back to culturing wise decisions, okay? Because wisdom cannot be taught. It has to be lived. It has to be experienced. People have to take chances and risks and see how it works. Like, dude, my first big crypto play, the one that I made a bunch of money on it, was that XR Doge, right? I looked at it, and if I had listened to the social world, okay, everybody was right. It's junk, it's crap, it'll never be worth a dang thing, and it's just going to fall off the face of the earth. It's not backed by everything, and they were all right. But guess what? I was right about something too. It's going to take a social pump, right? People are going to buy into it. And I took a risk, and I made a lot of money. But that comes from the wisdom of understanding people don't give a damn about jack most of the time. And people can be so one-stepped and narrowly focused that how many people were in there were just like me, dude? $1's a dollar and profit's profit, and as long as people are willing to buy this, I'll buy it too. But you have to have the wisdom to recognize those things. And the same way, it takes wisdom to recognize I wouldn't say the necessity of precious metals, but the value of precious metals, because that's not necessity. You could do it with beans and coffee, y'all. You can do this. You can apply the same principles to beans and coffee. And that, right, what I'm saying right here, that you could do this with beans and coffee, is the very thing that we're not sharing with each other anymore. We're not getting down to the core nitty-gritty basics of economics. People lack a fundamental understanding of economics nowadays. And that's why they miss these big opportunities. That's why there's not larger markets in rare precious metals. And every time there's an intellectual increase, there's a financial increase. Every time the culture gets wise about something, just like that shitty little XR Doge crypto, okay? It was an exercise in intellectual observance. People observed that it was there. People got interested. People made whatever little conclusions and decisions they wanted to in their mind and put money into it. But every time you see this intellectual stimulation, this whether it's logical or not, just every time people learn more about something, there are going to be more people interested in that said something. And you've heard me say it time and time again with this crystal osmium, right? It is such a rare metal that I wholeheartedly, firmly believe that if you had just the one video that got just enough views, and you had just a few of those guys out of those, by out of curiosity alone, by a little or by a lot from curiosity alone, you get enough people doing that, and you could wipe out the whole market. Whatever's not up for, whatever's up for sale, you could hypothetically knock out a whole market based on people just scrambling to get a hold of some because they're interested. They don't even know if they want to invest yet. But you get enough people, and then boom, guess who's done well? Everybody that was part of that community and everybody that was part of that market. And now all of a sudden, everybody that was just curious is all of a sudden doing that much better. You know, I had a buddy yesterday telling me, how important this is for people to start gaining awareness and gaining understanding, because the more people get involved and the more people that understand this, the better everyone's going to do, out of curious interest alone. Never mind like reasoned investment, never mind like necessity through trade. Osmium needs the crystal osmium right now. You're going to need a sputtering target, and there is a necessity of this metal. So if they even want to work with this metal, then somebody's got to have this metal in the first freaking place producing these sputtering targets just so they can work with that, So now you've got necessity and curiosity driving, and then you got some reasoned investment driving it. You're running out of stock. How much more so with all these others? These metals we use in like very important alloys. Like, okay, maybe nobody's using pure, rhodium or ruthenium, right? Maybe nobody's using it purely anymore. But if they're using it in an alloy that's important to something else, like, I don't know, flight mechanics, airplanes and space shuttles and computers, then all of a sudden, here we go again. It's going back up. So it's our job and our responsibility to start culturing this stuff and start making people aware, because every time you do, you've increased the market. You've built your own mini market. If you tell a buddy, like, let's say you got a buddy that completely in debt, you convince him that debt's not the way to go and that he should just purchase in whole. When he wants to buy a truck, just buy it at once. When he wants to buy land, buy it at once. If you don't have the money, save up. When you have the money, then do it, right? You get him out of that mindset, and now he's like, okay, so I've got all this money that I'm saving, but my money's losing value. Right? Because it wasn't money, was it? Right? And so he's like, I need a way to preserve my value. You start leaning him on precious metals. He's like, I want to increase my value. Okay, start teaching him other precious metals, right? But listen, if you got your buddy to buy 1 ounce of silver from you because now he's interested in silver, well, that's one more person you could sell an ounce to later, or that's one more person you could potentially buy from. You have officially expanded the market. You've created the market. You set the market. Whatever you sold that piece to him for was the setting of the market price at that moment in this micro market, right? And not just a micro market. But that's where the real market lives, is in your micro markets. It's in your communities, it's in your neighborhoods, it's at your fuel stop in your grocery store. Then it goes online. Then it goes to these other places. But so you want to do good in ruthenium, buy ruthenium, teach your buddy about ruthenium, get him to buy some ruthenium, and now the price of ruthenium is going up, right? At least in that micro market. Now if he wants to sell some and make $1, he throws up $1. Well, hey, that's a market increase. But if it works on the micro, how much more on, on this full scale global, full world scale? Like, what's that going to do when 100 people get interested and invested? 1,000 people, 100,000 people are now interested and invested. Yeah, Neil's got it right. Buy your crystallized osmium yesterday. And there's a lot of these. There was one of them that was sitting under the surface that a buddy yesterday had to remind me of, like, I forgot we even used the damn metal. And he's like, oh yeah, this other metal. See, now I can keep this a secret. Oh, what metal? Do your own research. Fuck that. Ruthenium, right? Raise awareness, raise the interest. If he owns any ruthenium right now, and you go out and buy some, well, yours and his just got a little bit more valuable. Just a little bit. Now, if you can get more people involved, it might be more difficult to buy, but the value's going up, right? So who cares? Because profit is profit, percentage is percentage, a dollar is a dollar. And the real trap that they've got us in is they've got us on a USD chart. It's all compared to the USD. So all we see is the up and downs, right? But you go on to like an app like Uphold, right? Uphold is one of their slogans is trade anything, anytime, right? Well, you can set your currency. You ever set your currency before? Tried messing with that in your charts? Like, go look at the price of Bitcoin in USD. And then go look at the price of Bitcoin in a Swiss franc, right? And what you're going to start seeing is differences in the characteristics of the fiats and the currencies being used. But you ever look at Bitcoin with Bitcoin as your base currency? It's a flat line. So it all just depends on what lens you're viewing it through, right? And so you start changing the lens you're going to view this through. Start doing a gold base. Start doing a silver-based lens. So now set all your charts to silver to USD, where silver is your standard, where silver is your flat line. And then watch your USD go like this. We're trapped thinking, oh yeah, I'm making that money. But if you flip that around, dude, it looks like that. It's the exact same way in the opposite direction and upside down, flip with the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You're not winning if you're basing it on USD. You're losing. It's getting more expensive. That's not you winning. That's you losing. That's your USD that you're forced to buy your groceries in. Losing. But if you're on a silver scale, well, buddy, you're winning. Now you're winning. If you're viewing it through the silver lens, now you're freaking winning. Because now you're going to get more green paper for your little 1 ounce of metal than you were before. And it's a mentality that has to be ready to move, change, and adjust. We got to stop viewing this lens out of this USD mentality. And I'm not saying go to the franc, and I'm not saying go to the peso. I'm saying you need to learn to flip the script with your game plan. Because if you're putting all your bets on gold, well, buddy, you better start putting your chart to a gold-based chart. And then paying attention to what you're doing with your gold. You see what I'm saying? Because the gold is worthless. Like, I think it's so stupid when these guys are like XRP and Bitcoin. I'm going to hold it forever. Why the fuck would you want to do that? You haven't made a damn dime, dude. You hold that shit forever. It might be worth $1 million fucking bucks, but you're still broke as shit. It's one of the dumbest statements in crypto. I'm going to hold this forever. Well, yes, hold it forever, buddy. Meanwhile, there's going to be those of us fucking buying and selling and using that value for something. You hold on to your gold 50, 100 years, fine, hold on to it. But you ain't done shit with that money, which means you're just as broke as that currency in your wallet. I don't care if you got $1 million of gold. If your plan is just to hold it for freaking ever and you only got $10 in your bank, guess what? You're broke. You got $10 in your bank. That gold ain't worth a damn dime if you're not selling it. If you're not buying it and selling it, if there's not a culture of a currency, of a trade system going on. A money exchange. Money is only money if it moves. The moment money stops moving, it's no longer money. And there's a fundamental understanding that we just like never really view it through that lens. We don't like to. It's not exactly necessary to function in our lives. But if your money is sitting in a bank, it is dead fucking weight that don't mean dick to you. It don't mean a thing. Neither does your gold stack, neither does your platinum stack, because unless you're trading it in for another resource, another material, somebody's time, somebody's effort, somebody's energy, then it's not worth anything. And then, just to take that one step further, it's only worth what it is to the person who's buying it. If he doesn't like your price, it ain't worth jack. It's only worth what he's willing to pay. And so if you're on a gold freaking standard and homeboy ain't willing to pay you more than 10% under spot, well, guess what? Your gold is not worth whatever they say on the screen every day. It's worth 10% under the spot of what they see on the screen every day. That's what your gold is worth. That's your actual gold worth. And so if you're trading it in for paper, then your game plan better be all based on timing paper. Sorry, that's a hell of a rant, isn't it? All right. I'm going to take a time out and I'm going to let you guys flow in this chat for a second and let me know. No, am I mistaken here? Am I suffering from a logical fallacy? You know, am I viewing this wrong? Is this too extreme of a position to be had? Do I need to dumb it down and just start trading in everything, all my time for gold? Platinum or gold? Platinum. Definitely gold is unethical. Those heavy on gold, swap for silver, silver for daily expenditures. You know, Gerald's comment is mark on with kind of what I'm getting at. Dude, what are you trying to do with all this metal? If you don't have a plan for your metal, then you're nowhere close to profit. You're nowhere close to, look, it's not storing value. You're not storing value. When you store gold, you're not storing value. Okay? If all you do is buy the gold and then it lives in a safe, you're not storing value. You're not storing value until you have plans on selling. Okay? If you're selling, then obviously there's an objective of use for your money, right? And so is selling your gold or selling your silver a better value? Are you going to get more for your gold or more for your silver? You know, is he going to give you 10% under spot for your gold, but 5% under spot for your silver? Well, then maybe you should quickly do a silver gold swap and make that trade in silver rather than gold. And so it turns out this whole time, maybe you should have just been stacking silver. If your plan was just to swap it over to silver, to swap it over to green paper. Without the plan, without an idea, then it goes nowhere. Oh, brisket and green chili. I'm on my way. No. I go down to southern New Mexico a lot, Marcy. I don't know why. I just always end up down there for some reason. If you think I ain't stopping by for brisket and green chili, you're crazy. That is full on New Mexico. And I'll bring the chili wine. So, anyways, we kind of touched on some philosophical aspects to stacking. Now to a little bit more practical is I'll just let you guys know what I'm in on at the moment. Still holding silver. Okay. I had recently sold off all my gold and platinum to make, because it was on high. So I wanted to cash in on the high and use some green paper for some of the stuff I needed around the house, right? And so am I worried about buying back into platinum or gold? What if the price keeps going up? You just sold out and you lost. No, I didn't. I made money on my platinum and gold. I made money. I made profit. I didn't lose a damn dime. I'm not going to lose out if I buy in again. Okay? Because percentage is percentage. It doesn't really matter where you enter the market. And if I'm not happy with the price of platinum and gold at that moment when I'm ready to re-enter, fine. I'll pick another metal that I do like the price of. And then I'll just work with that metal for a minute. And when that metal is worth a lot more and the price of gold goes back down, the price of platinum goes back down, well, I could buy more then. I'll just swap some metal out. Sell that one off for green paper and buy some stuff at a new time. And quite frankly, to me, it really doesn't matter where I enter. That's just me. I don't give a shit when I enter. But the moment I enter, I start tracking that investment, that one. The moment I enter, that's my investment point. Right there. It all hinges on that moment. Up or down from that moment. That's where it lives. So I could get out the same day. I can get out a week, a year from now. It doesn't really freaking matter. You know? Because I don't care when I enter. All that matters is the exit at that point. You know? Am I going to make percentage? Am I going to make profit on that? Do I predict that this will be worth price right now? Or I could buy something that, like, look, if my exit's 5 years, if I set my exit point 5 years from now, my choices are going to be, what do I think gold's going to be at 5 years from now? And what do I think this other metal's going to be at 5 years from now? But if I'm thinking on a year scale, then I need to think on that, my exit on the year. Because if I'm expecting, you know, a 1 year crash on platinum, the last thing I want to do is buy in on platinum, right? But if I think platinum's going to have a crash after 1 year and then 5 years later it's going to be the king of metals, well then, that's obviously the smart choice, right? And so you need to treat every investment as an individual at that moment in that current state, a good idea or a bad idea. In that moment, and you need to treat every investment individually. You see? Now, if your investment just so happens to be, you know, a cost average investment, you know, then it's a cost average investment. But don't get upset when the price goes up and then it goes right down after you buy. Cost average, you know. So deal with it and wait till it comes up on the high. I've been kind of running a cost average on the Crystal Osmium. I just buy it when I have the money. I'm going to be holding enough of it long enough that, like, look, even if I buy a piece tomorrow and I'm losing $30 on that piece, I just pull it out of in my mind, I'm just pulling the profits, pulling out of my previous profits, and I haven't lost a damn dollar. I'm just not as much into the profit as originally. You know, Gerald's exactly right. Early is where we are, leaving the train station with osmium. Yeah, dude, I'm not going to blink twice about $10 in tax, you know, 10% in tax and $10 in shipping and, you know, and whatever the premium was attached, because my exit is not tomorrow. My exit is down the road. And by the time that comes around, whatever I eat that day, I can always just, in my mind, pull it from my profit margin, and I'm still in the profit, so it doesn't hurt. And it's an ultra rare metal, which means the price is going to be affected a lot quicker than it would be for like gold or silver. Silver and gold can take a long time to react to a market, like meaning you're going to need a really heavy market or a real span of time to really affect gold and silver. These smaller metals can get affected really easy, and you can get a quick increase in price, like bam. So if you got a good exit plan and you're ready to act on it, you know, then you can run on bams all day. You see what I'm saying? Bam all day. And that's what I was meaning earlier about build your own little ETF, build your own little profile, your 10 metal profile. Build a 10 metal profile, a physical 10 metal, if you, or 5 or whatever, you know. Because look, maybe every prediction you had is dead freaking wrong, but it's still to your benefit, because maybe you think, maybe you bought that 10th metal and you're like, oh, this fucker's gonna fail. And then tomorrow they release a new technology that demands that metal and you're 10 times up. Bam, dude, you just covered the cost of all your other metals you just bought. You that one come up was enough to buy off your total investment. You've now officially broke even and you have 9 metals left to make profit with. So whatever they do and whatever you sell them off at, you have made profit, even if you sell it at a loss. You see, even if you sell at a loss, you're still in the profit, because all you needed was that 1 to 10x to cover all the other metals, to cover your profile. So if 2 of them double, you know, you just bought 4 of your metals. See what I'm saying? And then you can play the market. So if one's up that day, sell that one out. Sell it out. Who cares? Drop a metal off your portfolio. You can always come back in later. So if one's starting to knock off and one's doing good, you could just transfer wealth. It's going down a little quicker than I wanted. I'll just quickly put it into this one, which is going up a little faster than I expected. And then you can recover that. As soon as you get your recovery, bam, pull your profit and slap it back into this one. You see? Just balancing that, your own little metal portfolio. One good way to do that, I'm not saying it's the best way, it's a good way, is exactly that, stock profiles, crypto profiles. So like that app I was mentioning earlier, Uphold, it is like, dude, it's buy and sell now, right now. Like whatever you say it's going to do, and you can slap that into XRP or Bitcoin or silver or gold or platinum, and they play them all. They play them all. You can play the Dow, and whatever. And that's kind of how I got into the system, was through that app, actually, you know, and watching, you know, readjusting my base currency, you know, because I could adjust my base currency that day. And if that currency's doing good that day, I gained just a fraction more on my other investment, on whatever I bought that in, you know. So if I used a shekel that day, because the shekel was doing really good today and it was on the way up that day, well, then I make my purchase in a shekel, and then now it no longer lives in a shekel, it lives in a platinum portfolio, and then the platinum I sell out for a USD, and bada bing, you know. So like some of those programs can be real nice for just playing them hard and flip-flopping your values in your profiles. Bam, 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 just doing paper trading, you know. And then once you've made a significant profit increase, you can trim that profit right off and put it directly into metal, and then go back the next day playing your paper. Same day in, same day out, whatever the value is, doesn't matter. You know, the whole point is playing percentages, because it doesn't matter what you buy. If you can sell it at a profit, you made profit. So, for people in the room, hi guys. Hope life's good. I'm probably going to shut this down in a minute. Time to go run errands again. Yeehaw. You know. That's a lot of performance there, Frisky. 100 per ounce a week for 6 months at least. Nice. That's putting in work, bro. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Am I right or wrong? Got a middle thumb going somehow? Do they even do the middle thumb? They're like, like this or like that. Frisky says like this. Thanks, Frisky. Bow. Yeah, guys. Just yeah, I wanted the second part to be a little bit about culturing. You know, that I really want that to be the word that leaves today. Culture. You know, you can lead that with wisdom. So, you know, but we got to culture wise people, which means we got to get people making decisions, taking risks, making decisions, seeing the results of these actions, getting them cultured into making these type of actions, you know, culture. Yeah, look, dude, autocorrect is my nemesis. I never get it right. I'm like, and now it's got it wrong so many times. Now it chooses misspelling as like my go-to for a lot of words. I'm like my the always comes in. I think it's like with a P or something like that. It's like TPE for the, and like autocorrect is trying to change it to the. It really thinks that TPE for the is the standard for the. I'm like, you idiot, autocorrect. You know, like you fucked it up so many times. You actually think that that's how I want to say it. Stupid machines. So I'm gonna smoke a little bit since I got to work at home. Then let's see. I don't know. I don't really want to, but I might go to. There's a guy down the road. He buys silver. Problem is I never get quite the price I want for my silver. But luckily enough, I bought it long enough ago that selling it at a loss is still selling it at profit. So yeah, maybe get rid of a little bit of silver. I haven't worked the fire in a minute. My what happened was my damn pickup, dude. Like I live in New Mexico, most of my work's in Colorado, right? And when my pickup's computer died on me, it won't let my alternator charge anymore, man. That put a hammer in my life. Like it nailed me to the dirt, dude. Just like, nope, you're here now until you can figure this out. and it took a long time to figure out. And I had to do some goofball stuff. And I don't know if I saw in that video I put in. Yeah, like I had to like first get the materials to bypass my computer in the first place. And then like, because I couldn't source the right wires, I had to build a bypass in, like a little solenoid bypass in, just to have like an ignition hot. And then like, then that solenoid bypass burnt up because it was never meant to be like permanent. And so I had to bypass that solenoid with a breaker, a hard breaker. So now, like right now, until I get a better part, every time I go out there, I have to like click on my alternator, like literally physically on my physical breaker, like click on my alternator. But I mean, it works great. I mean, it could stay that way the rest of its life if I wasn't too lazy to not want to go under my hood every time. It would do just fine. In fact, it's doing better than it's ever done, you know? And so, yeah, Frisky, I opened up the computer just to see if I could access it, and it's surrounded in that heat sink gel, you know, like it's, and so I watched some videos about like how to deal with it, and they want me to like put that in the oven and warm it up and peel it back, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm putting in plastic gel into my oven. Like, I'll never get that smell out of my nose. I swear it. Everything I cook will forever taste like that plastic heat sink gel. Yeah, 107. Yeah, you don't even need the oven. I should have just leave it out at your place, huh? So, but yeah, so now that the pickup's going, I got to go back up to Colorado. But problem is my work, it's so far away that it actually takes a reasonable investment in fuel to work for a week. So like, I got to like work to be able to go work. Like I got to work to save up enough money to be able to get to work for the next week to get back into that cycle again. You know, so like I have to do work at home. I'll save up my travel costs, and then I'll go to Colorado to do my work, you know, and then I'll make more money over there. And then I'll have to like reserve part of that to be able to, I know it's like normal stuff, right? Except it's not, except it's much further. I mean, we're not talking about a little poot scoot down the road, you know, it's a trip every dang time. So, no, Frisky, I got it covered, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, they sent me another. I bought another computer, and I put that computer in, but now it doesn't like it allows everything else except for now. This time it's my like ignition firing. It won't fire my ignition anymore. And so I'm like, oh, I sent you one where my alternator doesn't work, and you send me back one where now my firing system doesn't work. And so I'm like, screw it, threw in the old one, bypass with the external voltage regulator. Done. I love old trucks because you can do that. I mean, it's new enough it has a stupid computer, but it's still old enough I can bypass even the computer. So like, woo. So, well, guys, maybe I got you thinking, maybe I didn't. You all in here, everybody in here today is super intelligent people, and you know, I'm sure this was like that stupid refresher you get at work, you know, that safety refresher reminding everybody to, once they're at a time, you know, make sure to put your hand on the rail, you know. But if there was anybody new in here or anybody new to investing, hopefully you gleaned something from this, and hopefully, you know, you pulled something and something stuck, you know. I kind of got the drill instructor's mindset about this in the sense that, like, it's my preference to hammer you with 100 different things if you only retain one. If it takes me telling you 100 things for you to retain one, then I've done my job. I would rather do that than tell you 1, 2, 3 things and you forget all of them. But if I can slam you with 100 of them, then maybe you could get that one that stuck, you know, and then I would have done my job. And so, yeah, it's getting really warm in this pickup. It's not raining on me anymore. Wish it was now that I'm in the pickup. It would be dang sure too hot for me in the sun, dude. I'm telling you, there's like 20 degrees difference between that sun and not just like, I don't know, maybe 20's leaning high, but at least 15. I can feel it. I know a 10-degree difference. And so that 15 is pretty easy to pull. 20's going extreme, but 15 maybe. I don't know. We're a thicker atmosphere today, less of a gradient. Maybe leaning at like a 12-degree difference. So I had fun. I appreciate y'all being here. I hope you guys got to know each other. If you don't know each other in chat, I hope you got to know each other. I am sure there was some information going on in chat that I wish I would have been privy to at that moment. But I was bambling. So I hope you all had a good morning. I hope you all have a good day. If you guys are interested in any osmium, of the crystal osmium from the Osmium Institute in specific, I should be more specific. If you're interested in any institute crystal osmium, hit me up, guys. I got some, and I'd rather get it out. I can always replace it later. So if you guys are interested, I'd rather just start getting it to people's hands, because it can take a little bit of time to get it from the institute. They're really good. Don't get me wrong. Super diligent about it, guys. They act fast, but we're separated by great distances and many authorities. And so, you know, there's a natural delay. If a lot of people get involved in this real quick, there could be quite a waiting line develop. So if you guys are having any troubles getting a hold of this, and you're interested, let me know. I've got like 2 mil squares. I've got 3 mil diamonds, 4 mil diamonds, 5 mil diamonds. I just got a 7 mil diamond in. I've got some stars. I've got like a number 7. What else do I got? Do I have any eyes left? Might have some eyes left. Yeah. So all you guys got to do is let me know, and you know, I'll be open and fair and honest with y'all. I'd rather y'all get it in your hands and us start using this and sharing it. And so if anybody wants some, hit me up. I'll give you a good, straight, clean deal, so that way you can get your hands on this and join the Osmium Club, y'all. Club Osmium. For real. Where you at, Gerald? Club Osmium. Frisky. Come on, Club Osmium. Marcy, are you Club Osmium yet? I don't remember. You might be behind. Oh no. That's right, y'all. Club Osmium. Well, I had fun talking to y'all. You guys are great. Gerald. I want to meet you in person, bro. I'd like to congratulate you in person on all your work you've been doing, buddy. I'd like to hear more about it. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, Gerald, please, you know, don't be shy, buddy. Let me know. I'm a cheap hand. You know, anything I can do to help you out, I absolutely will, buddy. Frisky, same to you, Marcy. Much love. If you need anything from me, let me know. Space Miner rounds are out. I mean, dude, literally, yesterday I found the very last plastic wrapped, unopened Space Miner round, and it's already been claimed. And so off it's gonna go. And So maybe I'll do some more of those in the future. But right now, there's a couple other metals I'd prefer to strike on. Um, I wouldn't call it a waste of my money with silver right now. Just I think I could make better use of my money in osmium and ruthenium and indium and maybe a couple others. I don't know. I have some friends I can talk to and get suggestions from. And with that, y'all, much love from New Mexico. Space Miner appreciates having you. You guys stay smart, stay wise, build your community. Community starts at home. Community is your neighbor. And it's time to get ourselves cultured as a community again. We want good, strong, ethical stackers. We want a good, strong, ethical market. And guys, if we all work together here on YouTube, we can build this together. We can set these standards together. You know, we can bring the change we want to experience, but it's going to start with how we treat each other. You know, let's build this culture. Let's get fashioned in it. Let's get exercised in it. Let's start working together, y'all. Let's make ethical money a thing again. Let's build that culture. All right. I hope y'all have fun. Much love. Thank you. And I'm going to shut this guy down. Take care, y'all.